component within EWM. It gives you the ability to control, have direct control over the PLC. So you don't need, basically what it's saying is you don't need middleware. So if you have a warehouse control system, a WCS system that's controlling this equipment, talking to the PLCs, this actually replaces your WCS, okay? Or it can replace. Now it doesn't have to. We've done projects where we still use the good old IDOC integration into mechanization, but it's something to consider if you're trying to get on this, kind of wholly owned SAP platform is also considering material flow systems. We talked about slotting a little bit. So slotting is just getting that product to the right area. It's considered the golden zone in the warehouse. So, if I've got fast-moving products in the summertime, like the swimsuits, I want those in the front of the warehouse. My sweaters, put them in the back. But ultimately, that's what slotting is, more of a planning tool. It's just analyzing your stock movements, historical or forecasted data, and saying, this is where you should put this product. If you accept its proposal of where this product should go, it can actually then go and update your material masters. So if you look at your warehouse views today on your product master, you'll see, or your material master, you're going to see a put away indicator, a pick indicator. You might see things like replenishment, stock levels, min-max. It can go and actually adjust all that information if you allow it to do so. So this thing that was a slow mover today, it's now determined it should be a fast mover, and then it'll go and make those changes. That's ultimately what slotting is doing, which is a planning tool. What rearrangement does is just gets the product physically to that position faster. So I don't have to run rearrangement. I can just let time, through attrition, the product is eventually going to get to where it needs to go. Slot or rearrangement just gets there faster. So rearrangement is just a bin-to-bin movement to get your product that you just slotted to the optimal position for it.
Is it different data views? Does the system do that?
In EWM, there are some different data views for the warehouse views. There's 3 views now, but they are very similar to what you would have seen in ERP-WM. The key with EWM is you still have to maintain all your basic views and your finance views and all those things like in ERP. You don't have to maintain your warehouse views in ERP anymore. You just have to maintain those in EWM. So kitting, if you're doing kitting, whether it's kit to order, kit to stock, even reverse kitting, so breaking down a kit back to their components, EWM provides a module just to do kitting. So in the past, what folks were kind of stuck with doing were working in a production scenario in order to do kitting. And now you can do, there are some elements. So for example, you see here, if you're doing kit to stock, it's still possible in EWM, but it's still based on a production on coming down from the ERP. Value-added services, again, it looks like a work center in EWM, but it's there because it gives you that ability to track labor and time associated with an activity. So in ERP-WM, if you've got operations like, I have to go and apply a label on every case before I ship it. Today, what you're doing is just saying, I know Jack needs to do that. And you're just kind of sucking it up from an internal cost perspective in the warehouse within your supply chain. If you make it a formal value-added service, I can now track and say, I know it's going to take George, 2 hours to apply all these labels, and now I can track that as time. And you could potentially bill your client for that stuff. So what value-added services is giving you that ability to just have a better view of what's going on and accountability of who's doing what. So different kinds of, VAS, I can do VAS and inbound, obviously doing inspections and things like that. I can do them internally if I have to maybe move something to a VAS center, break it apart, do some kind of activity on it, and then outbound if I'm, again, building something, maybe I have to put oil on certain bolts or something and then send it off. Again, that's what I can use value-added services to do that. And then RFID integration through AII within SAP. Standard integration exists if you're using RFID. So, but the only thing there is it's only supporting these processes saw when Chris showed, Logistar has a visualization tool. There's more of a 3D tool. EWM does provide you with really a 2D graphical warehouse layout. And what this is used for historically, what we've seen is for folks doing things like mapping out their conveyor segments, or when they map out their bins within their warehouse, when they create them, they can make sure that they're not, sticking out of the wall out of the parking lot or something like that. So it's basically more like a configuration or setup tool. We don't see it really deployed a lot in production to do things like for example, you can't drag and drop something, and it won't create a task for that. But you can drill right down into the bin level and see stock. So you do have that kind of capability. What our 3D tool does, the real benefit of the 3D tool is, again, basically doing a real-life virtual walkthrough of your warehouse. So if I can't tell if this rack is 1 high or 20 high. In a 3D model, I can flip it and I can see it. That's really the main difference there. A lot of enhancements to the reporting and analytics engine within EWM. One of the biggest ones are the embedded crystal reports. So I can run a report out of SAP, and I can instantly convert it into crystal. I can save that as a variant. So every time I come in, I can see my report in a nice crystal, spreadsheet versus, the standard ALE view with SAP. They've actually delivered